The morning sun barely peeked over the horizon, painting the sleepy town of Willow Creek in a soft, golden hue. Birds chirped gently in the distance, their song a faint echo of life waking up. In the small bungalow on Cedar Street, 11-year-old Eli Turner sat on the edge of his bed, hands clenched tightly around his inhaler, chest rising and falling in quick, shallow breaths. He hated mornings like these, the ones where the air felt thick and his lungs rebelled against him. His asthma had worsened over the last year, and each attack brought a wave of fear that settled in his mother's eyes like a storm. Eli had memorized her every expression, could tell the difference between worry and panic, between hope and helplessness. This morning, her face wore the kind of worry she tried to hide. "Eli," she said softly, kneeling beside him. "Just breathe. Remember what Dr. Sanchez said. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Slow and steady." He nodded, tears stinging his eyes, not from pain but frustration. Other kids his age ran marathons around the playground. He couldn't even walk 2 blocks without feeling like his lungs were collapsing. His mother, Clara, wiped his forehead gently and helped him lie back down. Across town, in a modest clinic with chipping paint but warmth in its walls, Dr. Maya Sanchez checked her schedule for the day. She'd been a respiratory specialist for 15 years, and though she could have moved to a bigger hospital in the city, she chose to stay in Willow Creek, where patients were people with stories, not just charts. Her eyes lingered on Eli Turner's name. She remembered the first time Clara brought him in, a wide-eyed boy with a cough that rattled his chest like broken wind chimes. Over the years, his asthma had gone from seasonal to severe. Maya felt like she was always playing catch-up, treating symptoms while the root problem slipped just out of reach. But Eli was more than a patient. He was kind and curious. He'd once given her a rock from his backyard shaped like a heart, said it would help her fix breathing hearts. She still kept it on her desk. When Clara and Eli arrived that morning, Maya noticed immediately that his condition had worsened. She ran a series of tests, tried to keep her voice calm, even as she adjusted his medication dosage again. "Doctor," Clara asked, her voice low and exhausted, "is it going to get better? I just want him to breathe easy again. I want him to live, not just survive." Maya looked at Eli, now curled in a chair, playing with a toy dinosaur. Her heart ached. Medicine alone wasn't enough anymore. That night, after the clinic had closed and the streets emptied, Maya sat alone in her office, staring at the heart-shaped rock. She thought about air, how most people took it for granted. She thought about all the children like Eli, who saw every breath as a battle. She thought about Clara, working 2 jobs just to afford Eli's treatments. And then, she made a decision. The next day, Maya contacted an old college friend who now worked for an international respiratory health foundation. She told him about Willow Creek, about Eli, about how environmental factors, mold in aging buildings, air pollution, smoking in public spaces, were slowly choking her patients. She asked for help, not just for equipment or medicine, but for education, awareness, and support. The foundation agreed to visit. They brought portable air purifiers, sponsored community classes, and partnered with local schools to teach kids how to care for their lungs. They called the initiative Breathe Easy, and Maya was made its local director. Maya personally visited Eli's home. She saw the cracked walls, the dust that danced in sunbeams, and the tiny vents clogged with grime. She contacted volunteers who helped clean and ventilate the house. A neighbor, inspired by the story, offered to install a new HVAC system for free. A local carpenter even built Eli a custom bunk bed with built-in air filters. Clara, overwhelmed, cried into Maya's arms. "Why would you do all this for us?" Maya smiled, eyes wet. "Because your boy reminded me why I became a doctor." But Eli's journey wasn't over. One cold evening, he was rushed to the ER, his worst attack yet. Doctors stabilized him, but his lungs had become too inflamed. Clara sat by his hospital bed, gripping his hand, whispering stories and prayers. When Maya arrived, she found Eli awake but quiet, his breathing aided by machines. I don't want to be broken anymore, he whispered. You're not broken, Maya said gently. You're brave. You're stronger than you know. And then, something unexpected happened. A nurse walked in with a letter. It was from a boy in another state who had heard about Eli through the Foundation's newsletter. The letter was short but powerful. Dear Eli, I have asthma too. When I read about you, I didn't feel so alone anymore. You made me want to take care of my lungs. I stopped vaping because of you. You're my hero. Thank you for helping me breathe better. Love, Caleb. Eli read the letter, then looked up at Maya. For the first time in a long while, he smiled, not out of politeness or pretense, but because he felt seen, understood, and loved. Weeks passed, and Eli's condition began to improve. The Breathe Easy campaign grew beyond Willow Creek. Schools across the region adopted respiratory health programs. A documentary was made about the initiative, and Clara was invited to speak about being a single mother raising a child with chronic illness. At a community event 6 months later, Eli took the stage, inhaler in his pocket, microphone in hand. His voice still held traces of vulnerability, but also strength. My lungs used to make me feel like I couldn't live the life I wanted, he began. But then people showed me that I wasn't alone. They cleaned our house, fixed our air, and taught me how to protect my lungs. And they helped other kids too. So if you ever feel like you can't breathe, like the world is too much, just remember, there are people who care. You're never really alone. The crowd rose to their feet, clapping and cheering. Clara stood nearby, tears running freely down her face. And Maya, holding that heart-shaped rock in her pocket, knew that medicine had helped, but it was love, compassion, and community that truly made people breathe easier. Heartfelt message. Breathing easy isn't just about healthy lungs. It's about the air we share, the care we give, and the kindness that surrounds us. One act of compassion can heal more than a body. It can inspire a movement, mend a soul, and give hope to those who've forgotten how it feels to simply breathe.